Episode, the next tier of the challenge series, Tier C, with, well, now even slightly more fast cars than before. And, I think one or two new faces involved as well. Starting off, Riley returns in her same Corvette Stingray. Don't fix what ain't broken. I think it might be broken soon. Eric Wojciechowski now pilots a Ferrari F40. Thomas O'Reilly takes a GT40. Taylor just upgraded to a Cup version of her previous vehicle. New driver Ryan Wolf is here in a Mercedes SLS. Schwartz is in a Porsche Cayman GT4. Cameron is back and he is in an Audi R8. Akira still keeping his same Supra. Same with Gemini. Thrasher is also driving a GT40. Another new driver, Ivan Sotokov, from Russia, if you couldn't guess, is driving another Mercedes SLS. Previous champion Travis is driving a Porsche Cayman. Kari is back, driving a R35 GTR. Isabella matches Taylor, and James Stillwell also returns, also driving a GTR R35. And this split's going to be kind of interesting. It'll be 5-4-5, or actually be 4-5-5, I think. Yeah, it'd probably be 4-5-5 because Highlands is going to take a while, and we have Laguna, and we have Barcelona. But first order of business, we start with Laguna Seca. Laguna Seca, and well, Thrasher ain't going to be happy about this qualifying on his home track. 14th. That is a big oof. And meanwhile, Taylor of all people is the one that's on the pole. As long as she can get a better start off the line than Eric and Ryan, she should probably be able to maintain the lead from there as well. She should have the grip for that, being in good old Lotus. We got a long race ahead of us here, 6 laps to open the championship. Yeah, I would say she got away well enough. And Eric absolutely didn't, so he's already lost 1 spot to Wolf. Travis Loves will be one to watch. Previous champion, probably looking to repeat, but now he's switched from a torque-oriented vehicle to a more cornering-oriented one. It might pay him might pay off well here, but at some track like, say, Monza, it's not going to get him off that far compared to where his old Carrera might have gotten him. And to make things even worse for Thrasher, he's also down a place from the start, thanks to, I imagine, probably a lot of wheel spin from having so much horsepower in this old machine. Sort of like Akira kept having problems with in his Supra, which I'm sure he's still having problems with that since he's in the same car. Isabella got bumped a little. Cam is up 4 spots, I think I saw. Yep, he's up 4 places from the race start. I don't know how that happened here. Suddenly Thomas. It is very much a procession for the top 5. Really the big challenge right now is that. Cam attacking Isabella for 8th. But going on the outside of this turn, oh, what did you do, Eric? I don't think he did anything by the looks of it, but we'll look anyway. Oh, he locked up, barely kept it on the road, and then got punted by James Stillwell for his troubles. So that'd be like the second time so far we've had a crash between two people that like resulted in several places lost. That dropped Eric down 4 positions, and he's got some body panel damage. Not that I think that really matters all that much in this game. It's not like, say, an F1 car or a NASCAR where you have a bunch of aero parts that get damaged when you get into collisions. No, it's just kind of like, you know, the paintwork's scratched. Pretty much. Thrashy is having a Laguna Seca to forget about here. I think, honestly, for his own sanity, I think I might as well just keep the camera away from him. I mean, I suppose technically this would also be Taylor's home track in the way of the fact that it is in the United States. And this and Black Cat are the only ones that are. Black Cat, I think, is in Texas. So it would technically be closer to where she lives than this. As Wolf is right on Taylor's brake lights. Lapping just barely faster than her, only about 300ths faster, but that's still enough to really keep Taylor on her toes. Travis is putting a lot of pressure on Akira. The superior power of the Supra not allowing him to ever set up any kind of moves, though, so I don't think anything will be happening here unless he tries something really desperate into something like the final corner or maybe the corkscrew. Though a desperate move in the corkscrew can have more repercussions than rewards. Another drop for Riley is she's now been passed by Hikari. Albeit still not even for points anyway. Still have to get one more for that. Eric's got the obvious power advantage over... Ooh, my goodness. Now Cannon's getting into him. It's just been a roller coaster for him today, as... Now Ivan took a shot at Riley, apparently quite literally, as he ran into the back of her car. Cam didn't run him completely off the road, but he still ran into him again. I was going to say he has the obvious power advantage over that Cayman in front, but the road's not wide enough for the AI to think that there's enough space to pass. Seemingly ever-present problem at this track, Brands Hatch, and some places even like Barcelona. And there's another great Akira train of 2020 as there's just a line going from 4th to 10th that are all within like a second of the car in front. 0.4, 0.5, 0.4, 0.5, 0.9, 0.4. Cam tried another nudge. I don't know if the R8's brakes are just not that good, or if maybe Eric is braking conservatively. I don't know. Stillwell, despite having a collision earlier, is currently the fastest car on the road. And he will look to insert himself into this kind of a mental game for the lead. He can take his time a little bit. He doesn't have any threat from anybody behind him. He's got a good 3 seconds to the Supra, who's got his own set of problems to deal with. Several of them. As you look at the end of the points paying drivers, Thomas would take the last one. It's acceleration versus top speed versus handling here. In reverse order, but you know, Taylor's got the cornering to maintain the lead. Ryan would have the top speed to take it on a faster speed track like Monza, but I think it'd be the GTR that would thrive at a track like this due to its low speed corners. Wolff was there, but could not bring himself to attempt. This has not been by any means the most exciting race. I think it's kind of sad because the game has like a separate percentage scale for opponent aggression. I have that at 100, and yet the AI just kind of just do this. They don't ever take opportunities that are obviously there on thinner tracks. And considering we race in Europe, there are a lot of those. And Taylor is going to win Laguna Seca from pole on her, but also didn't really have much of a threat because of how much Ryan was just refusing to try and pass, despite having a much more powerful car. Snooze Festival. Thrasher will look to get his redemption from second on the grid, but Eric just keeps... the misery just keeps piling on. He had a terrible start and lost second to Ryan right off the gate. He gets run into twice, one of which drops him down 4 places, and now he gets to start last. It's also quite advantageous for Taylor, the points leader, who will start in third. Yeah, the GT40 just have like a really bad torque curve, I guess. It's the opposite problem that the Supras would typically have. But horsepower is gonna get Thrasher still ahead of Taylor, it looks like, maybe. Yes. Easy move for Cam. Gemini had thrown completely off by Thomas. Thomas throwing himself completely off. But no dice. Now, with this start in mind, it is actually in Taylor's best interest if Thrasher wins, because Schwartz did finish 7th in the previous race. Whereas Thrasher scored nothing. And realistically, I mean, Ryan would be a small threat to Taylor right now, but not by much. And Barcelona is also kind of difficult to pass at. The only place the AI will actually ever try, unless they're braking like that, would be turn 1. I guess just surprise Hikari enough. And nope, alright. Instead, you will be overtaking yourself for your hubris. The GT40 come into play in a couple of seconds and run that Porsche all the way down. Maybe not all the way, but quite a bit of the way. But still not close enough to attack him. Travis and Ryan going at it again. Behind them, the same goes for Akira and James. James doing more crashing. Riley and Thomas are frequently fighting each other, it seems like. And this has felt like a very Barcelona race so far. Nothing has happened outside of small scuffles into turn 1 on this lap and the first one. Thrasher is the fastest car on track. Oh, that might matter a little bit in the second. But Thrasher's got to go in harder than that. Hang on. Thrasher has to send it further than that if he's actually going to make the pass. The handling of that Cayman is going to keep him ahead every time, unless Thrasher does something really dramatic. I mean, I guess if we get all the boring races out of the way earlier in the championship, that, you know, I suppose it'll make the end of the championship more interesting when we've got crazier races. Yeah, that's totally what it was. It's not an oversight as far as listing the tracks. No. Did you think that? Yes, it was. Entirely was. I thought Laguna Seca would be a little more interesting than it was, and I kind of expected this to be garbage, but it kind of has to be in the championship somewhere. And honestly, considering there is a fight for the lead, this is honestly better than some Barcelona races where in time loop. Or Universe Zero, not time loop. Thrasher actually will get the move done, pretty sure. And I guess he heard me and definitely dramatically sent it into the hairpin. Schwartz probably caught off guard, just kind of didn't know how to react, and Thrasher was able to claim his lead. And now he will drive off into the sunset. I'm watching the two Lotuses go at it for a final spot on the podium. This isn't what Taylor likes to see, but it's not exactly critical either, because Isabella is not her main title rival. It's mostly Ryan and James, and neither of them are getting a ton of points from this endeavor. Yeah, could never find himself any additional places. I mean, he might find one now that of course, now that I've said that, he'll be like, alright, fine, challenge accepted, boy. But, like, that's not gonna matter, because that's 14th. That's not 9th, or 10th, or anything that matters. So Thrasher's going to take a victory at Barcelona. I never thought to say I would actually try and pass Dedrick, but yep, he did. Isabella will swipe the podium away from Taylor. Despite this, Taylor will still definitely be your points leader. A bit late for that Hikari. It should be... I think it's 6-point lead for Taylor. 7. And Ryan and Schwartz are tied. Thrasher right behind that. But early going means any of those other lower drivers, like Gemini or Ivan, winning a race could easily skyrocket them into the points battle. It wouldn't be until the end of this episode that we would finally determine who the kind of Omega drivers are and who the background drivers will be. For Imola, and well, Taylor's got a bit of weakness. Dedrick in a decent place to capitalize, Travis not so much. Ryan definitely not. And James is actually looking set to probably take the points lead from this. If he can keep himself there, of course. Riley can't seem to get any luck either, that's just a constant apparently. The all-wheel drive launch of these two vehicles will get them very far away from everyone else. like it's just about business as usual for the first half of the track. However, I think this track, more than any other on the game, has the highest odds. Okay, maybe not higher than Nordschleife, but besides that, besides the Nordschleife, has the highest odds for the AIs to kind of do dumb things. Be it missing turn 5, be it punting somebody in the backstretch chicane, or punting somebody in the second to last corner. Or just straight up missing the second to last corner, or doing that there, that we just saw on the screen. I don't know why I was following last place of all people, but here we are. Curb bounce. Bump. Alright. Thomas does not care, he's gonna take it anyway. Thrasher's made his way up fast. He's already up to 5th from 8th. And Gemini has had a problem. I do not know who or what caused that, but we are about to see. Oh, he gets absolutely punched by Ryan Wolf. Both end up in the sand trap, but Gemini ends up way worse. So yeah, just as I say... Is time frozen there? Yeah, it was. Weird. Just as I said, it's decent odds for the AI to run into each other. They do precisely that, it's just moments later. Surprisingly, that hasn't put Gemini out. That does sometimes happen. The AI will get sent far into the sand trap and just quit. Somehow, someway, despite that, Ryan Wolf has still net gained since the start of the race. Riley's finally found herself in points. Even if it is just like, you know, like just one singular point. Considering she almost won the championship last round, I would kind of be disappointed if she was like dead last. She doesn't have John Garrison anymore as a direct comparison, so it's kind of hard to judge if it's the car or if it's the driver that lacks. But I think it might just be the fact she hasn't qualified very well yet. That probably isn't helping anything. Ryan is fascinating me right now. Also just noticed Thomas passed Riley. Top speed should have been enough to get him ahead, but he just kind of didn't. I thought he was gonna hit her again. somewhere along the line, Ivan passed Isabella for 6th. And based on the condition of his car and Isabella's, he didn't have to run her off the road for it. I think I just saw Ryan almost get into Riley again. Those are confusing names to say one after the other, that's for sure. He's gonna do it again. I know he is. I know how this AI works. He's done it once, and he's done it almost like 3 other times. He's gonna hit her again. As I think Travis and Thomas are fighting up there. Thomas just passed Travis. Yeah, a little bit of nudge. Are the brakes in the SLS just like really not very good? I mean, I know it is a pretty heavy vehicle, but like, Brian should be good enough to just not brake so early. Or just brake earlier and brake late, not brake so late, rather. I know English words very well. Mercifully, he's overtaken Riley, so he can stop rear-ending her over it. Thomas has made quick work of the Porsche drivers to put himself into 8th. Well, I tell you, this is precisely what James wanted to see in his mirrors. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are all kind of in the same area and all probably going to fight each other over this position in a moment. I think he'll be close to Travis by the second to last corner. Let's see how he races him. I, as kind of half steward, am watching pretty closely on this Ryan fellow here. Cam is escaping those two. I just noticed Eric is finally going to get a chance to actually score. Ryan isn't actually super close to Travis right now. He may not actually have the chance to hit him. But he does have more speed than that Porsche, so he'll get to him fast. He manages to woe it down just in time to not hit him, but really not much beyond that was, you know, said and done. And he didn't really give him any difficulties there, he just passed. Not a terribly interesting event at the front. I mean, yeah, these three are all pretty close, but I don't think they're ever going to fight each other over it. So despite his insanity, Ryan is about to score a point from 14th on the grid, which would be impressive in its own right if he didn't have to run 2 people off the road to get there. 2 people and himself, mind you. Eric tried on Cam, but there was nothing. That's left him vulnerable, but Kari's gonna not really do much about it. Other than just mount the curb. Oh, goodness. Oh, I can maneuver menus. Oh, he nudged Dedrick as well. But Schwartz kind of knows defensive driving. Stillwell takes a commanding victory at Imola. Not really much anybody had for him. Isabella just kept 7th for long enough. And previous season's champion will score nothing, despite the fact that he wasn't even run into. He just didn't have the pace. Got the points in now, and indeed, James is the leader. And he's only really got 4 challengers at the moment: Ryan, Dedrick, Thrasher, and Taylor. As we hit up the final race of this first episode, the Highlands. Very old-styled front row, and even directly followed by the other old car on the grid, with Eric in 3rd. This is really going to kind of throw a bit of a wrench in the works for the championship fight, because, well, now Taylor's going to get another advantage. James is out of points at the start here. And this would be Dedrick and Ryan's race to capitalize, and especially so for Thrasher. If all goes according to plan for him, he might be the points leader by the end of this event. Just a little bit of fog around, as there so often is in Scotland. Usually it's rain, but that's not in this game, for whatever reason. It's a very tentative start, but Thomas just kind of throws it in there. This is his home track, so I imagine he would like to win on it. As you can see, we're kind of delving our way out into the countryside now. This will be a long race, so hopefully it become, it's an interesting one. To hopefully make up for the first 2 races. Imola was decent. Even if it wasn't good at the front, it still had drama from other people running into each other, which compensated for that pretty well. The Lotuses are not going to like this track. That's just a fact. They do not have the top speed that pretty much anything else on this course, except for maybe the GT4 Caymans, can muster. As you can see, Cam just effortlessly breezes past. Eric's getting a little racy with Thrasher here for 2nd place. And it is jumbled in this middle pack. Riley covering off a different aggressive Mercedes. Thrasher's got a bit of damage. I imagine he was probably getting a little rough with Eric, trying to hang on to the 2nd place. Secure 1-2 for Ford. It's basically Ford versus Ferrari, but like weird and in Scotland. I don't imagine it to be too long. Ryan Wolf should be able to get Dedrick down the big straightaway. If he doesn't do it here, that is. He certainly attempted, but not really much of a speed difference to make that do anything. Gemini also didn't get any kind of break, as he didn't start any better here than you finished before. Riley was hit. I imagine he is to blame. The game didn't pop up any front bumper damage for him, so I can't say 100% for sure, but I mean, records have shown these Mercedes drivers. Braking is difficult. Really hope she's not choosing now to move stuff around in the house again. How has he not made that pass? Oh, that's a wall there, Eric. There was not a lane for you. He did make the move. I just caught away because I saw Eric pinball off the rock. Oops. She's not happy about something. It seems to be getting a little argy-bargy in this tier. More crashes in this first third of the championship than there have been in the last two total. Don't think he's got anything for the Ferrari. It's just down to Thomas to protect his home track of victory. You make one pass and then find the grass. Still a conniption up here. James gets another spot. Cam just about ejects himself. I think Eric hit the wall again. This car seems a little more damaged than it was the last time. But you still gotta keep this thing on the road for another lap. Could've sworn Travis was the one that was extreme, not you, but here we are. Someone must have ticked him off. Riley has not had a great lap. She's down 3 places. I don't think her car can get any lower, but still not, you know. A fight for not last. How do you know I end up in those rocks? Or any. expecting, didn't they? I was expecting this to be a bit more interesting than it has been. I mean, everything's shuffled, yeah, but like, at the same time, I expected a lot more chaos. I expected like a huge crash like I've seen in past Universe Zero events. Really, other than Eric flopping around like a fish, haven't really seen that. And even still, none of that really affected him. He's still in second. He knows he's running out of time. He's gonna try and find any lane he can go through. We got about a minute's worth of race to go. He needs to figure something out. Doesn't need to figure that out. I think he already knows what the barrier is. I don't know what I'm hearing in the other room, but it is quite erratic. It is a righteous train behind Riley, but there are no more passing zones, I don't think. Last chance. And there's nothing for him. O'Reilly will win at his home course. Most people like big clumps, but most of the people in each group had very even cars with one another. So no progress was really made. That is it for Highlands. And after a quick check of the points, it for this episode. Ahead by 1. And top 8 or beyond, actually top 9 are all within one race. Darius still the only driver with 0 points.